Welcome. Thank you for joining us this morning. This is the middle school principal chat. It is Thursday, February 15th, 2024. Welcome. I'm going to hand this over briefly to Mr. Noel, who will go over translation services.
Buenos días, familia de Academy City Charter School. Si necesita traducción, por favor, llamar al número que está en la pantalla, 605-468-8788. Y de inmediato le va a preguntar por un código y marque el 658-6977. Gracias.
Edward, can you just put the translation services into the chat too, just for reference? Oh, thank you, Noel. Never mind, Noel's got it. Great job. Okay, next slide. Okay, just important reminders. You all know this. We've been doing this for a couple of years together now. Make sure that your microphones are muted. You can put questions in the chat. They will go to the host and we will address questions at the end of our principal chat. Make sure that you're using respectful language at all times. And after this principal's chat, if you have additional questions that you were not able to get answered or that we need to follow up with you on directly, please send them to msoperations@academyofthecity.org. Next slide, please. Okay, here's just a peek into what we'll be talking about today. We'll just introduce staff, especially if you're new with us. We will give you information about parent-teacher conferences, going over testing, going over our backpack policy. We'll give you a little update about our music teacher. We'll talk about sports and after school. We'll talk about 8th grade seniors and graduation. We'll talk a little bit about high school acceptances and then upcoming events at our middle school. Next slide, please. Okay, many of you know me, but I'll introduce myself again, and the rest of the team who is here will introduce themselves. We don't have everybody today, but we have most. My name is Katie Lynn Santa Cruz, and I am the middle school principal.
My name is Hasmik McCurchin. I am one of the assistant principals.
Miss Woody's not here. I am Michael Katrozos, Mr. K. I am the Dean of School Culture.
Rory is not here. He is the Director of School Operations.
Yes, and good morning all. I'm Wilma Cordero, and I'm the Operations Manager here in the middle school.
Dennis is off handling tech services at the school, but Dennis Schroeder is our Library Technology Coordinator.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you're muted. Okay.
Noel Peguero, and I am the Parent Coordinator.
Okay, thank you. Next slide, please. Okay, parent-teacher conferences are on the horizon. Please be on the lookout for an email from the school that will allow you to register. They will be on for the middle school, they will be on Wednesday, March 20th and Thursday, March 21st from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. This is a great time to sign up for the children's teachers to meet with them and go over their academic progress and any behavior concerns you may have at that time. Remember that conferences last about 15 minutes and a Calendly link will be coming soon. Mark those days on your calendar. They will also be half days for students. Next slide.
Thank you. And I'm going to be discussing testing. Edward, if you can please put my information in the chat for families. So I am the testing coordinator here. Please make sure you save my email should you have any questions, comments, or concerns related to testing. So just a couple of things for semester 2 this year, we're actually creating study hall as a test prep period. So how that helps students is we have a curriculum called iReady that helps prepare students for state exams, but it's also really honing in on the skills that students learn throughout the year. So it's not just learning test-taking strategies, it's actually improving the skills that they've learned thus far in order to prepare for the following year. Also, please note, we will be partnering with Athena Learning again and have high school readiness support for our 7th graders beginning in March. We will also have parent workshop meetings as well, and more information is going to come about that later. Save these dates below. So we have regions for our 8th graders. So Algebra 1 regions will be Tuesday, June 4th. We have living environment, which will be Friday, June 14th. And we have the second language proficiency exam, which will be Monday, June 24th. Our computer-based testing proposed dates for our 6th to 8th graders, we have ELA, which will be Tuesday, April 16th to the 17th, and we also have math, Thursday, May 9th until May 10th. Edward, next slide, please. And just to give you all a little example, this is an ELA practice test. So you'll see that students are able to annotate. They can highlight, they can underline, similar to when they do their paper-based testing. So it's just on the computer. Next slide, please. And why AOC takes state exams. So really important. It helps our school determine how students are progressing and performing compared to their peers, and which students or teachers may need more support. It also allows you to learn how your child's school is doing compared to other schools. And some middle and high schools have used state exam scores in the past as one of the several criteria for admissions, but they have never been used as the sole or primary measure for promotion or admissions decisions. So for fall 2023 admissions, some middle and high school use course grades and or school-based assessments to evaluate students. And this one's really important. As a SUNY charter school, our authorizer measures our academic standing largely on state test scores. So when we had our SUNY renewal in the fall, this was one of the important pieces that they were looking at. So it's really important for students to participate in the state exam. Students who take state exams also have the option to participate in test prep programs, including the DREAM program. So for those of you who don't know the DREAM program, it's something that's offered to our 7th graders outside of regular school hours, and it helps students prepare for the SAT exam that they take in 8th grade. So it's a really great opportunity for our kids. Last, state tests are preparation for high school regents, which are required for high school graduation. Next slide, please. And I pass it to Mr. K.
Unmute myself. Okay, so we have some changes in student policies, backpacks and jackets. No backpacks, Chromebooks in January at lunch or recess. We already started that. It's been going pretty well. Now, after the February break, there's gonna be no backpacks or jackets for the rest of the day. Students will be allowed to stop at lockers to get jackets for PE. Also, no stuffed animals and no toys being allowed in school during the school day.
And I just want to add on to that slide. So Edward, if you can go back, the rationale for this is we've been noticing that our students' backpacks are becoming extremely heavy and overpacked throughout the day. This limits the ability for students to move easily through the halls and actually within the classrooms. We are also going to be working on executive functioning skills for students so that they can prioritize the subjects that they have coming up, go to their lockers, retrieve their books for the subjects that they have, and then put those away before lunch, retrieve the next after lunch, and it really works on their functioning skills and really helps them prioritize and learn to be prepared for the times that they have in front of them, rather than carrying every single thing with them throughout the entire day. And we have been noticing an uptick in stuffed animals and toys. We want to be mindful that this is a learning environment and that they are not needed or necessary on middle school grounds. Next. Okay, this one's me. So I just wanted to provide a music teacher update just to keep you all informed. You have heard from us in the newsletter that Mr. Dranzik has accepted a wonderful opportunity to be part of a touring orchestra across Europe. Therefore, he had to let go of his position at Academy of the City. It was a hard choice for him to make, but this is also a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and we fully supported him. In the meantime, we have Mr. Noel, who is teaching middle school music. If you've been with us for all 11 years of the school, you'll know that Mr. Noel was actually our first music teacher at the school. And so he has very well, slid right back into that role. I've been in a couple of the music classes where every student has a guitar in their hands and he's teaching music theory, music notes, rhythm, and students are really happy to see him in this setting. And we're very fortunate that Mr. Noel can take on this role as we search for a new candidate for the music teacher position. So far, we've conducted several interviews and we are moving on to demos, I believe, right after break. And so hopefully, if we found the right person, they should start in the spring. But we will keep you updated for if that changes for any reason. Next slide. Okay, just an update about sports and after school, because in our last principal chat, we were somewhere at the beginning of these stages. So we have successfully ran 2 sports teams, a girls basketball team and a boys basketball team. We also had one winning game for our girls, and we're super proud of them. And we will continue to offer basketball in future years. This will become a staple to our school, and we're thankful for the students that participated. Their season is slowly coming to an end. We are live streaming games, and you'll get those links from us via email and newsletter. And we had 2 All-Stars on Saturday from 2 of our students who were All-Stars. And in the spring, we are looking to start volleyball teams. So we are slowly increasing our sports program at Academy of the City. We see that there is a love and a need for more sports, and so we are rolling out additional teams and sports as we can. So we are going to start with a volleyball team in the spring. There will be a boys team and a girls team. We are currently working on solidifying coaches. And we are running intramurals during breaks where students can sign up 5th grade and up to participate over break. There is a fee for that. So those will always be advertised in our newsletters. Also helps keep students busy during the week that we're off. And then we have successfully had our after-school program start up back in November. It is ran by Cali Center, which is one of our teachers who runs it. And most of the staffing is our own teachers, which is really nice. They do homework help and support, and they do extra activities that include drama and poetry speaking. And what I can say, though, is we've had a very slow enrollment. I think we only have about 11 students. And so we will continue that over to the next year, hoping that it picks up. But so far, the need has not been as great as we had heard it was needed, but we will try to keep it rolling. Next slide, please.
Okay, so for our senior 8th grade families, here is some update. We have sent out information about our senior dues, and below you're gonna see our payment plan. So a Google form went out. We encourage families, if you haven't filled out the form already, please do. Some of our operations team members are reaching out for support in filling out the form, but there are 3 payment plans. The first payment is due today, so please look out for a reminder today in your emails on how to pay. Right now, these are some dates to look forward to is our 8th grade graduation, which is going to be June 20th, and our prom, which I'm sure all kids are excited about, for June 18th. Currently our senior trip, we've confirmed that it will be Boundless Adventures. Right now we're thinking of the date June 11th, but again, more information will go out about senior activities and events. So please keep a lookout on your email. I do want to say that Boundless Adventures is a really fun outdoor adventure place where the company describes it as a treetop wonderland of bridges and zip lines. One thing also to know about this company is not only will our students have a lot of fun, also there are built-in learning skills of like teamwork, problem solving, and leadership. So that's something that even the adults are looking forward to as the senior trip. And that's it.
Okay, we are starting to receive word of our 8th grade students who have been accepted into some high schools already. We're really excited for them and we're really excited to learn where they're being accepted into. So please do email us when you know what what schools your child has been accepted to. If you want to tell us them all, we'd really like to shout it out. We won't necessarily put their name and info out on our newsletter, but we'd like to just generate a little happy congratulatory blast to families, letting them know all the different schools that AOC students have had the pleasure of being accepted into, and really celebrate those 8th graders and all their hard work that they have done to get into the schools that they've most been looking forward to. As the school year runs on, please do let us know what schools they have been accepted to and which ones they're actually choosing, because we will need to get everything prepared to send over to those high schools. If you need support in any way in regards to high school acceptances, please reach out to MS Operations and we'll direct the question to the right person, whether it be our 8th grade counselor, our assistant principals, or anything the operations team needs to provide in terms of paperwork. We're happy and here to help whatever you need. And then for 7th grade, we will begin our high school readiness prep this spring. It will start in March, and we are busy solidifying those details. It will occur within the school day with hopefully opportunities for test prep at the end of the day. But more information will be coming and will be sent specifically to 7th grade families. But we're really excited to start getting those 7th graders ready, and really happy for our 8th graders and all of their upcoming acceptances. It's been a really exciting time. Next slide, please.
Some other exciting things coming our way is also some events that we have planned. So the dates are still to be announced, but please keep this in mind. We are going to have a Spanish and Art Expo, a Talent Expo, and Field Day. So stay tuned for the dates. Next slide, please.
Okay, at this time, we are going to answer some of the questions that have been put in the chat. And so we will cycle through. I'll read them aloud, and then team, I will let you know if I need you to answer or if I've got the answer right at the tip of my tongue, okay? If you're just joining, please know that we've recorded today's principal chat, and we will be sending everybody the link to the chat, to the slides and the recording, and we will share it out in our newsletter as well. And I believe it will be on our website, so everybody can refer back to it. Okay, let's see. We have lots of applause for Mr. Noel. Thank you. We're very happy he can do this for us. Okay, so iReady. Yes, so for our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students for ELA, they are using an iReady workbook to practice for the state test. It has short answers, it has long responses, multiple choice questions, and we all will also be practicing CBT practice exams online so that they will be familiar with what online testing looks like. So we're weaving all of that together. Again, that takes place during study hall, and it's worked into the school day so that everybody receives on-site test prep. So there has been a shift of focus to study hall. There is one day a week where they can still catch up on homework. But their afternoons will be more rigorous. So if they come home tired, now you know why. Okay, volleyball tryouts. We don't have that information yet, but I hope to communicate that in the next couple of weeks. So be on the lookout for that. Is there a prom theme? Good question. Not yet, but we are surveying students soon to figure out what they would like and taking the most voted one very soon. So we'll let you all know about that. And we'll continue to let you know about upcoming graduation and 8th grade senior activities to come your way. One thing that we're getting ready to launch next is the yearbook contest. So we will be putting it out to 8th grade students to design the yearbook cover, and the winner or the most voted upon cover will obviously have their cover chosen, and there will be a $25 Amazon gift card for the winner for all their hard work. And then regions. Edward, can you just put up that slide one more time just for latecomers so they have the dates? Very good. they are practicing also during study hall time. And so for our Regents takers, we have secured the Barron's Regents test prep book so that they can have practice within the school day as well. So during their study halls for math, a living environment, and second language proficiency, they will be getting test prep support in that way. And I know I had seen a question registered. Yes, we will be offering Regencies for our 8th graders next year as well. And yes, there's no Regents for ELA in 8th grade. Only math, science, and Spanish. Think we have all of our questions answered, so I'm not sure if anybody else has any other questions they like to pop in the chat. But these were good questions. Ah, this is a good question. Ms. McCurchin, you may want to answer this one. If a student can't do one of the CBT tests on the scheduled day, can they sit for the test on another day?
They can. We have to still solidify our makeup days, but they can make it up on another day. It has to be made up within the CBT testing window. So as long as it can be made up within that window, they can make it up a different day.
And where will prom be held? Astoria Manor. Yes, it will be held at Astoria Manor, and that will take place on June 18th, which is a unique day because it'll be between two holidays. So we'll be off on Monday, on for Tuesday, prom Tuesday night, and then a break Wednesday for our 8th graders to recover. Will we have prom committees? We are just getting started with our graduation committees, so I don't have details on that yet. A good question. Other questions? Okay, if there's no more questions, oh, here we go. Will the books for Regencies be shared after the winter break, and do we need to prepay now? We've actually purchased all of the books. We have testing money set aside for all of our students. It's something we build into our budget every single year to make sure that we can support every single student. So we will not ask for payment for those books. None of the test prep books will need payment. Okay.
Yeah, so for example, that's an 8th grader, Miss Ramos. So Algebra 1, they have the Barron's book like Miss Santa Cruz mentioned. For science, they have their workbook that actually prepares them for the living environment regions. And the second language proficiency is everything that Miss Bealey is teaching throughout the year, because remember, the second language proficiency, it is the World Language Exam Checkpoint A, which gives kids 2 foreign language credits in high school. So when they pass that exam and they get to high school, they go to Spanish 2, not Spanish 1.
Have question about student government. Will we be having student government? That is on a topic of conversation for the upcoming spring, as well as clubs. We're trying to reintroduce those things after testing season. Can they carry their books in totes after the holiday? We're trying to encourage to limit the type of item that they're carrying things in. So it will really be on a case-by-case basis. So if it's a small tote and it's not becoming overly packed, then sure. But once we start noticing that they're keeping everything in and they're not taking things out, that's when we'll address it. So it'll be more like a case-by-case. Also, I'm sure there will be some students that need to carry private materials for, feminine needs or anything of that nature. So like a side pocketbook would be acceptable as well. We're just trying to teach them to be more mindful of what they're carrying, because overall, I have to say I've lifted a couple of the backpacks myself, and it's very concerning what they're carrying on their backs. I can't even lift it. Mr. K, maybe you can, but they're still really heavy. So we just don't want to see any back problems at such a young age, but we also really want to teach them to prioritize what they need throughout the day as well. It's very good questions. And yes, the students are not really happy about it, but we're supporting them. Would it be better to minimize the notebooks? That's a good idea, and we can look into it. Maybe having a 5-subject. Yeah, it's something to think about. And this is also letting us know what we'll need to prioritize for next year as well across the grade levels and what they'll need. That's a good question. Oh, thank you. I gotta thank you. Small clear totes allowed. That would be a good choice. That would be a good choice. So they can split morning and afternoon classes. Yeah, I think that would be a great choice. Something that I've noticed is these backpacks also just are getting bigger and bigger. They have lots of extra pockets. They have like 3 sections and they are really stuffing it. And I know I've had like a couple students like just even share what they have going on in their backpacks, and they're storing we've noticed one student had 2 laptops from home. They've packed their DS or their Nintendo, whatever Switch it is, and they have entire
Use-
kits with them. Yeah, it's a little bit much.
We're also trying to encourage students to use their lockers. A lot of students are putting everything in their bag, but they have a locker. Everyone has an assigned locker. So we're really trying to, reinforce to use that space.
Yep. Yes, I think they are afraid too, some of them. And we've already had discussions with teachers about this, that it will likely take some adjusting to. And so teachers will be there to support. And in the beginning, Mr. K will be in the hallways because we know that students will forget in the beginning. We're not trying to do any gotchas to any students. And we know this will take some transitioning too. They carry their whole house. Yes, some of them do.
I feel sorry for some of them. They're walking like this.
Yeah. Yeah. So some of them say they don't have enough time. So I believe we have, and Ms. McCurchin, you could correct me if I'm wrong, about 3 minutes built into this schedule. And this is a fairly small school, and I can only speak from my own experience, and this is something that we'll monitor, but I can speak from experience where my high school was about a half a block, and we had the same amount of time, and I'd have to go to my locker and run to the other side of the building, half a block down. It would be a hustle, but I would make it. This school is relatively small, so you can get through in time, but you have to work efficiently. You have to go to your locker, get your books, and move on to the next class. And what we've noticed is because the backpacks are so big, they're not able to move through the hallways as easily, and they are kind of bumping into each other. So hopefully the decrease of backpacks will also help. But again, we will monitor what this looks like, and if we have to make adjustments along the way, we will.
Right. And just to clarify with lockers, we also try to minimize students going to their lockers during transitions. So we encourage students during homeroom to get all your belongings for your morning classes. And then during lunch, you go and get all your afternoon classes in your locker, like you switch out your things. But that's going to take some time for kids to learn. I mean, it's still something they're getting used to now. And that's why Mr. K, he's always in the hallway trying to help students with their lockers. So it is going to take a bit of time, but that's really ultimately the goal, is to have them prioritize what they need for their morning classes and what they need for the afternoon.
Yeah. And a comment about condensing things. Yeah. And I think we're going to go over this in our wellness classes as well and help students really make this transition and actually talk about it and talk about what's frustrating for them, what they're having difficulty doing. So yeah, it's going to be a tough transition, but they will get through it, and we'll monitor and make adjustments as needed. Okay, last questions. And if you think of any beyond this meeting, please remember to email msoperations@academyofthecity.org because they're always there to direct your questions to the right person. We do not have an art room. Question was, can items be stored in the art room? We don't have an art room. Okay. So we are going to close out for today. Again, the recording will be available on our website, and we will send it out to anybody that registered as well so that you'll have it, and the slides will also be available. I want to say thank you again for taking the time to be with us today. And for asking really good questions. Please continue to ask questions and send them our way to MS Operations. It helps us know what the families need and what they're thinking about and what's on their minds so that we can communicate in the best way. So really appreciate you taking the time to be with us today, and let anybody know who couldn't be here that they can access this online for them to view. Thanks so much for being here. It's really nice to see so many familiar faces.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Oh, yeah, we learned a trick.
Everyone, fireworks.